Go to the next game. All right, this game looked exciting early on in the year, and then it turns out the Dolphins are starting Skylar Thompson, and oof, good luck. I'm sorry, Miami. It kind of is what it is. Going into Seattle. Not to toot my own horn here, but Seahawks might be 3-0 this week, baby. Let's do it. Let's talk about these quarterbacks. How high do you have Geno Smith ranked? And then I already know the answer to this question, but I'm asking anyways. Is there any scenario where you would start Skylar Thompson?
No chance. I'm starting Skylar Thompson. I hope he has a good game. I hope he's ready for prime time. Maybe he becomes a quarterback you can think about in super flex leagues. I can't do it right now. Absolutely not. I will start literally anyone else over him. I do have him. Nope. I'm going to change that now. I will start him over 2-3 NFL quarterbacks, and they are named Levis, Bo Nix, and Jacoby Brissett. Outside of that, I did have Willis below him, and I just moved him above him because I can't.
Yeah, you got it. You're like, the situation is pretty different, and we've seen it, but it's.
But rough, look, he could absolutely go off. Everything, the whole situation, everything else around him is there. But we saw that with Malik Willis last week. Like, I just don't expect there to be any sort of ceiling. There just literally can't be. But look, best of luck to him. On the other side of that, Geno Smith. Against what has been a pretty decent Dolphins passing D over the first couple of weeks. Geno Smith is still my QB 13. That feels too low. I want to get him in that top 12, but I just can't move Anthony Richardson down any further than I already have.
Yeah, I think the Geno Smith Baker Mayfield discussion this week is a good one. Those guys are paired really well together, where they're both borderline QB1s. Yep. Geno's doing yeoman's work. Like, he's been under a ton of pressure, and he's just been incredible. I think he was the highest rated QB in week 2, based on it was a good defense. Like, they played him well, but he was just on another level. So congrats to Geno. Like, he's carrying the Seahawks, and he's going to do his best work. So like we said it all offseason. Like, Geno was a buy. The Seahawks offense was a buy. That is very much coming to fruition. So hopefully people take advantage of that, and you can get those guys. Let's talk about the running situation. Who do you have ranked higher? Do you have Ramondre Stevenson ranked higher? Or Zach Charbonnet ranked higher, because it looks like Ken Walker is going to miss another week?
Yeah, I have Stevenson way down. But sorry, what are we talking about? Are we talking about Miami? So we're talking about who? Achane,
sorry,
right?
That's my fault.
That's my fault. It's all good. So Mostert's likely out. Achane is my RB. You want to take a guess?
It better be high. I'm just going to say that. High.
Yes.
RB4?
2. He's my running back 2 this week.
I'm in my bag right now. Let's go.
I couldn't put him above Bijan. I tried, but I couldn't put him above Bijan. He's my RB2 this week. I would not be shocked at all if he's far and away the RB1 this week, given all the other matchups. He's a stud. You have to just, you're not going to be able to trade for him. Try anyway, and try and get Achane any way you can. Beg, borrow, and steal for him. On the other end, it's going to be Charbonnet. Walker is out at least this week, I think. Probably next week as well. If they're going to be, especially if they win this week, they'll be 3-0. There's no need to rush Kenneth Walker back. Charbonnet is my RB19 this week.
Yeah, I'm very high on Charbonnet this week. I expect Seahawks to have a lead, and that means they're going to kind of feature him a little more this week. So I'm pushing him into my top 12 running backs this week, just based on with the usage. It's 100% snaps, 100% usage. Like, any running back who gets that work, particularly in a good offense, like, he can find his way in the end zone multiple times this week, and he could be very high. I get it. Like, it probably makes more sense to have him in the 15 to 20 range, but I like the matchup against Miami. Miami's defense is very paper thin at the moment. Like, they're gluing it together. So we saw James Cook do his thing against them. Would not be surprising to see Charbonnet do his thing against them as well. Are you starting Caleb over Darnold this week? Because I am not. I'm going to roll with Darnold. It's close, but I'm just going to trust Darnold in that offense, which sounds the craziest shenanigans things I've ever said in my life. So it'll probably regret that.
I have Darnold 5 spots ahead of Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is going against by all accounts, one of the worst defenses in the league in Indianapolis, who just lost their best player, DeForest Buckner, for, I don't know if it's for the season, but it's at least for a while.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So he should play well. No, I'm starting Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that's like, and the Houston defense is actually really like we've seen this Houston defense. They're really good. So this is like I'm gonna bet the over on a Darnold interception. Like that's what I would do. And then yeah, I would also expect him to outscore Caleb. Like they need to figure it out. Like it might take them a week or two. Based on what we saw in week 2, that stuff was not sustainable. Like it's the Shane Waldron, it's all the fun stuff. So you could do it with Caleb, but like I want to see Keenan if he's healthy. That might change it a little bit. So they have all 3 wide receivers. It'll make it a little bit easier on them. We'll see how it goes. But at the moment, yeah, I'm with you. Let's jump into these wide receivers and talk about the wide receivers of this game. So we have some really good wide receiver options on the Seahawks side. We have DK Metcalf, we have JSN, the ghost of Tyler Lockett still there, not really doing anything for fantasy. And on the flip side, Miami, we have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Like that's one of the best 1-2 combos in the league. How do you have these guys ranked, and who is your top guy this week?
That's how I feel about it. DK Metcalf, he's questionable. He's going to play. He's just a monster out there. He's my number 1 guy. He's wide receiver 9 for me. I have him like over Marvin Harrison Jr. I just love DK Metcalf. He showed why last week. This offense is only going to improve. He's the guy, which is nice. Tyreek Hill, on the other hand, I can't bring myself to push him out of the top 12 just yet. He's still Tyreek Hill. He can get 2 targets, catch them both for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So we know he can do this, but you have to push him down the ranks a bit. I did manage to get him in ahead of Malik Neighbors, which feels weird, but that's a weird matchup there in Cleveland. So Tyreek's at 12, and then I have JSN at 25. It's too low. Can't get him any higher. But JSN could have another great week. So yeah, those 3 guys are great. And Waddle is 28, feels too high.
Yeah, it's just is what it is. I think this is in between those 2, yeah, that's what happened if you're deciding between Caleb and Darnold. I was like, okay. I would agree. It's like the interesting thing is Darnold is in the perfect situation and he looks much better. Flip side with Caleb, who's the most like one of the most talented quarterbacks we've seen, and situation's not great because of the system, the scheme, the offensive line, all those issues. So yeah, I feel you. But like with Marvin Harrison Jr., he still only had 4 receptions last week. It's not like he went new. Like he needs to still show a little bit more if we're going to consistently rank him in the top 12. Like I think we talked about this early in the offseason. He was overvalued by the fantasy community because we're drafting him at his ceiling. Like that's kind of is what it is. But I mean,
and in half,
go ahead.
And in half PPR last week, Marvin Harrison was the wide receiver 1. DK Metcalf was the wide receiver 2. So, exactly. We are splitting hairs here. I do have him just based on matchup and my ridiculous blind faith in the Seattle offense this season. DK is my wide receiver 12 for the whole year, which just shows you how high I am on him, or maybe just how high I am this going into this season. Yeah,
the Seahawks also have 3 of the top like defense allowed corners in the league right now. Like what they're doing with that defense is really good. So I don't know how that I would just literally just bracket Tyreek Hill the entire game. Like I'd be like somebody else has got to beat us about the Seahawks. So we'll see if that shakes out. But yeah, both those guys are uber talented. So yeah, I think they should all be top 30 wide receivers. Like you'd be happy in John, all of them, and they should be all in your lineup. Even Waddle's a little bit more iffy just because Skylar Thompson, but I want to start JSN. I want DK. I want like Tyreek all in my lineup. The tight ends, are we playing Noah Fant? Are we doing Jonnu Smith? Because we saw the Seahawks absolutely shredded by Hunter Henry last week. So let's are you doing the Jonnu Smith, or are you just gonna like let somebody else play Jonnu Smith this week?
No, I can't. I get it. If you have to, if you're hurting, sure. I don't know where I'm gonna rank Jonnu. Right now he's 19. He probably deserves to be ahead of Cole Kmet. I don't care. No, I don't want anything to do with any of these guys. Noah Fant is buried at 23. No, neither. Pass.
All right, let's play a game. Are you playing Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith this week?
Hunter Henry is my tight end 12, so far and away.
Henry. Oh, baby, what time to be alive we are. Yeah, I think that kind of shows you like where it is with Jonnu. I'm a little bit more bullish on Jonnu. I have him back to back 12 and 13, but overall, I get it. Like it's going to be rough. Like it's not going to be a ton of volume for him. I just think with the Seahawks offense or our defense where they struggled is the middle of the field. That's where Jonnu Smith should act. So in theory, it's a good strategy. But in theory, a lot of the time, these strategies fall face flat. So I'm with you.